we see a lot of the same clusters, sequence of 3 difficult turns over and over again. But what about this one? We see a lot of times counters into twizzles. A counter, the twizzle and the counter kind of turn the same direction, but what about rocker into a twizzle? Now this gets a little more difficult. Do you think this is a difficult cluster? I start with a right forward inside rocker into a twizzle, and then I come out and do a counter. That's difficult because the rocker turns one way, and then the twizzle goes the other way, and then the counter goes the other way again. So I made a lot of progress on that. When I first tried it, it was very difficult, but the technique for that is that you want to have a nice deep edge leading out of the rocker, and not just leading out of the rocker, but right after the turn itself. You want the edge to be deep, because then if you start that edge deep, the twizzle will be easier. And my other cluster is also a little on the tricky side. So this starts with we see a lot of forward brackets. We don't see back brackets as often. This is going to be a backward bracket into a counter and then a loop. So, a couple of ideas. Yeah, pick out 3 different, write all the different turns on pieces of paper, put them in a hat, draw out 3 of them, and put one after the other, and you'll get some really interesting things going on. You know, you could do a double loop. We don't see double loops very often. Double loop. Twizzle, twizzle. Twizzle. Well, I don't know. I guess I'd have to stop at the twizzle and then do another twizzle. Are you allowed to do the same 2? The rules keep changing. So be creative with your, don't just do a difficult cluster, but find one that's really difficult and that nobody else does because it's really difficult. And hopefully, judges, you will recognize, because there's a spectrum of difficulty. Not all difficult clusters are the same difficulty. That one, rocker, twizzle, counter, is more difficult, and it'll still qualify as a cluster, but the judges should recognize that as being of higher difficulty, so should give more grade of execution possibly for step sequence. Hi there. So for you technical specialists and skaters and coaches out there, there are so many multitudes of possible difficult entries into spins, and we see only just a couple over and over again repeated. So here's just one idea of many possibilities. Tell me if you think this is a difficult entry into a spin. I've been working on this, but I haven't really perfected it, but you'll get the idea. So, yeah, well, I did as well as I could. I think the camera helps me. Okay, is that a difficult entry into a spin? Backward inside edge instead of the forward. We always go into our spins on forward edges. Have you seen that before? Yeah, it's just got to be a nice, the physics and the science and the technique of it is the same as a forward outside edge, and maybe it's no more difficult. It's just that we've gotten into the habit of doing and practicing the forward entries. Well, on a forward outside edge, you can kind of use the free leg a little bit. swinging around, whereas at a back inside, you don't have the benefit of the free leg moving around, that momentum. So in that sense, it probably is intrinsically more difficult, but I think you could use this. And I went into a broken leg position, but if I bend my skating leg, it could be a broken leg sit spin. I could go into this back inside edge into a broken leg sit spin, 2 features out of the way. And then I'm gonna go into then I'm gonna change foot and I'm gonna do this camel spin, which is really a work in progress, but this is what it's going to be. So it's going to come from the back other spin, but I'm going to, so you get the idea. It's not, it's like I say, I haven't got this mastered yet, but I'm going to lean over to the side with my body and have this leg high enough out to the side in a camel spin position. And it just so happens this is also on a forward inside edge. I don't know if I can do any better. We're almost getting there, right? So I have to do that for what, 2 rotations. This is my plan for a combination spin. Back inside difficult entry into a broken leg spin for, that only needs to be what, 3 rotations. Change foot to that wonky camel spin. And then the upright spin will be my famous crossfoot spin. All right, I'll show it to you again when I've got it up to snuff and ready for competition.